If you want to feel like a real-life Hawkeye in VR, then this is your best bet. I am jBahr and I cover everything VR gaming, tech, and esports, and I have partnered with Wonderfitter to show off this Artemis VR bow. The bow itself weighs about 1.5 pounds and has a 10-pound draw on it. So as you use it, you'll start feeling like you're working out muscles that you haven't really used for a while. The best feature about this bow is that it can integrate with the game Tiny Archers, which is a tower defense wave-based type game where you need to defend your position with only your bow skills. And connecting this to Tiny Archers is very easy. You do have to play through the tutorial of the game first, but once you are done with that, which only takes a couple minutes, you get the option to connect the Artemis VR bow, where you just gotta click on that button. It'll ask you to turn on the bow after mounting your controller, and you just turn on the bow by pressing this button right here. And once the game identifies the bow and everything is all set, you're able to start firing away. Let's hop in Tiny Archers here and play through a wave. So we're just gonna go into the control under options here and connect Artemis Smart Bow. Now it's gonna tell me to turn on the bow after putting in my right controller. So I'm gonna turn on the bow, right controller is already mounted, and it'll search for the Artemis Smart Bow. And when the bow connects properly, you should see the green light here turn solid. All right, let's see what we can do here. Oh, he's climbing up my wall. Very hard to be accurate. Gotta be quick with it. This guy's got armor on. There we go. Hey, not too shabby. Definitely takes a minute to get used to it. There is also a non-VR mode where you don't need a Quest headset or a Quest controller to play. There's a Wonderfitter phone app where you can calibrate the Artemis bow here to the app and actually play typically against your phone, but I'm actually casting my phone to my projector screen, which definitely makes it feel a lot more like a archery simulator setup, and it's actually pretty fun. And in the Wonderfitter app, there's a handful of different games that you can try out. It also gives you a little bit of a recap at the end of how long you spent in the game, how many arrows you shot, and around how many calories you may have burned, which is honestly something I would love to see out of some more archery-themed VR apps that could work with the Artemis bow in the future. So I can definitely feel it in my arms after a couple of rounds of Tiny Archers there. There are a couple things I would like to see added to the functionality of that game to be more compatible with the bow. It'd be awesome if there were some calibration options in-game to move the bow around so that it kind of matches the bow that you're holding in real life. Without that, it's hard to be as accurate as you want. And I did find myself a lot of times not drawing as far as I should, just to kind of try to compensate for that inaccuracy, if that makes sense. Outside of that, I will say it is really fun to use. I do think that's something that makes VR very special, is products like this that allow you to feel like you're doing something a little bit closer to the real thing. You really can't get that with flat screen experiences. And in its current state, only Tiny Archers has direct compatibility with it. There are other bow and arrow based games that will work with this, but you still have to hold on to the controllers while you use it, which can be a little wonky. Wonderfitter also has their own app that you can play around with that has a handful of different types of bow and arrow type games as well. And the price for the Artemis VR bow is around $179 currently on the wonderfitter.com website, which is kind of up there unless you are very interested in shooting bow and kind of practicing your archery skills in VR. I do think there's a couple of things that could happen here to make this a lot more worth the cost, which would be better integration in Tiny Archer so that things match up in the physical and the virtual world, as well as more integrations with more bow and arrow based games like In Death Unchained, for example. Make sure you let me know in the comments if you have any questions about the Artemis bow, and I'd be happy to answer them. Also, make sure you like and subscribe if you like this kind of content. We got a lot more coming your way. Cheers, and we'll see you next time.